So after plugging away in the Championship, we nicked promotion away from Leicester right at the end, and the board have rewarded us with £48 million to spend. So let's get spending. The board were thrilled with our promotion and showed us how happy they were by giving us a phenomenal C+. I mean, I suppose they did demand automatic promotion, and we only nicked it on goal difference, so maybe a C+ is fair. That being said, the ambition of the board is unrelenting as they want us to finish mid-table before becoming the best of the rest in just a few short years. Oh, and for those wondering, Leicester did go up by the playoffs, deservedly so. Now, onto the 48 million. Last season we didn't do too well investing in youth. This season we must try harder. Arda Güler, £8.5 million. We also moved for Matheus Franca, Brazilian youngster. Yeah, you probably know who he is. Leicester came in for Ox, and through negotiation we settled on an extortionate £50 million. I didn't want to sell our player of the season, but at our level, every player has a price, and Ox's price is, well, a lot below 50 million. But it turns out Ox is happy here, and he rejected Leicester, so we don't get the money. Never mind. So back to strengthening, and we purchased versatile fullback Elias Elias for £11.5 million, a quality option who can play left or right back. We then splashed the cash on central midfield dynamo Fabian Rieder for £23 million, before moving for legendary Lorenzo Luca for just £3.5 million. What a bargain! And that was the end of the transfer business, before a very tricky start to the season. We started off against Chelsea, going ahead twice in a 2-2 draw, before a convincing 3-1 win against our promoted comrades Leicester. Then next, it's off to Old Trafford, where we give a fantastic account of ourselves, taking the lead with a debut goal from Lorenzo Luca, before ultimately losing 2-1. But an admirable performance from the boys, and signs are promising for the season. And those promising signs continued when Marcus Leonardo scored not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 in a 5-3 win against Aston Villa. And the 5-star performances continued against Fulham, but this time we kept a clean sheet. We followed this great early season form up against Brentford. Despite Tino Livramento's best efforts to derail everything, Marcus Leonardo is desperate for the assistant manager to proclaim he's better than Erling Haaland in a press conference when he scored an absolutely magnificent hat-trick. Then it was back-to-back 3-0s with us on the wrong side of one against Newcastle and the right side against Cheltenham in the Carabao Cup. We finished off September with a 1-0 win against Brighton, Matheus Franca with his first goal for the club. October was less than impressive, losing 5-1 to Arsenal, 3-0 to Palace, and then a 0-0 draw with Everton. Then it was Carabao Cup time again, and we were looking for revenge against Arsenal after the 5-1 battering 3 games ago. A spirited performance as we won the game 3-2. A brace from Lorenzo Luca and a goal from Fabian Rieder. And it was a North London double, this time beating Spurs in a hard-fought 2-1 win, with goals from Alex Scott and James Ward-Prowse. We continued our winning ways by beating Forest 3-1 and Wolves 3-0. Our mood was somewhat dampened, however, with the injury to Matheus Franca. On a positive note though, Marcus Leonardo was Young Player of the Month, and I also came runner-up as Manager of the Month, with Ralph finishing third. Have it, Ralph. As a reward for this, the board have removed £200,000 from the wage budget due to the club's perilous financial position. I mean, yeah, fair enough, right? Maybe time to sell a few players for profit, or maybe time to lower your expectations, board. And we had a truly horrific December, losing to Bournemouth and drawing to West Ham to start things off. We grabbed a late equaliser against Liverpool through Marcus Leonardo, before back-to-back 2-1 defeats to the Manchester contingent. United in the Carabao Cup, and City in the league. The good news keeps on coming following the wage cut. We've been advised our youth intake preview is 4. Then we had a showdown against Leeds and our nemesis, Ralph. And what a game this was, taking the lead thanks to an own goal before Leeds struck back and were winning 2-1. Until the 89th minute when Joe Aribo fired into the top corner. You'd think that was enough jubilation for one day. Oh no, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain was played in, he beat the offside trap, beat the keeper and slotted home. 3-2, what a win. Then we got a taste of our own medicine against Brighton as they equalised in the 92nd minute. Marcus Leonardo got the European Golden Boy, so yeah, there's that. Happy days. And now Kyle Walker-Peters is going to consider his options. With 18 months left in his deal, sell now? Sell in the summer? We'll see. Back on the pitch, and we had another draw, this time 1-1 against Newcastle. Orsic missed a penalty in the 90th minute. He's 30, got a little bit of value. Think it's time I sold him off the back of this penalty miss. Is this an overreaction? Maybe, but he's being offered out. We managed to get a £14 million offer from Everton. Then the dickhead rejected them. We took 3 points off Palace in a hard-fought 3-2 victory. Then everything was coming up Millhouse as Wolves, out of absolutely nowhere, dropped a £19 million offer for Orsic. Yes please, accept. He accepted. Off. Out with the old, in with the new Lucas Asadi. 3.5 million was his replacement and on £36,000 a week less. He's a prospect for the future and should have a high resale value. And then he went to West Ham instead. We took our frustration out on Swansea with a 4-0 win, a brace for James Ward-Prowse and a brace for Marcus Leonardo. We then went back to our favourite scoreline, 1-1 as we drew against Arsenal. We then lost 2-0 to Villa before getting our 5th 1-1 of the season against Leeds. No 90th minute heroics this time. Luca and Ox both scored braces as we came from behind against Leicester. We won 4-1 before turning our attention to the FA Cup. We drew against Championship Luton 2-2 and then in the replay lost 4-3 after extra time. Pathetic. Back to the league and free-falling Chelsea win 13th before this game. And we smashed them 3-0 with a Marcus Leonardo hat-trick. Now he's back from the Olympics or wherever he was. And that hat-trick puts Marcus Leonardo level with Victor Osimhen and Erling Haaland. St. Marcus is truly the saviour signing. Despite losing 4-2 to Manchester City, Marcus Leonardo bagged another brace, which led him to getting Young Player of the Month, as well as Player of the Month in a double sweep. After back-to-back defeats, we had Liverpool and we lost 1-0, before making it 4 in a row, losing 3-1 to West Ham. The youth intake came in and actually exceeded our expectations, below average. We needed a change in fortune against Bournemouth and we got it. In a 3-0 win, Lorenzo Luca popped up with a couple in the first half before Mateus Franca rounded off the win. And after the 2-1 win against Forest, it came to my attention that my contract was expiring. And seeing as we're well on course for a mid-table finish, so they better offer me a new contract, and they did, with a 33% pay rise. Good job we're not in financial ruin, eh? We celebrated my new contract against Spurs and ended up losing 3-2. Then Kyle Walker-Peters says he's too big for Southampton. I'll remember this, Kyle, and see what you've been up to when we're in the Champions League final. Oh, you mark my words, Kyle. You mark my words. We beat Everton 1-0 with a Jesse Lingard goal and the fight for 7th is on. We're too far gone from the top 6, but that's fine. It's us versus Palace. And with Palace slipping up against Bournemouth, we're in pole position with 4 games left. Our Conference League prospects took a blow when Alex Scott broke his ankle. Against Wolves, we dropped points in a 2-2 draw. And to top it off, James Ward-Prowse got injured. It's a nail-biting end to the season. Although Everton beat Palace, so not that nail-biting. But hang on. Here come Aston Villa, like an RKO, out of nowhere with 2 games in hand. Oh, this got a whole lot more tense. As long as the injury list doesn't keep growing, we'll be fine. Great. Bella Kotchap also got injured for 2 to 3 months, so his season's over. Then our old friends Leicester did us a solid and beat Aston Villa. So 3 points behind with 1 game in hand. It's still in our hands. And you couldn't write it. Villa lost their next game, and who beat them? Leeds and Ralph. The great man strikes again. Against top of the table Man United, we grabbed a point. We're 7th by 1 point, and our goal difference is so superior it's like an extra point. It's going down to the wire, as long as everyone stays fit, and oh for f***'s sake, Tino Livramento broke his back in training? Who did that? A heartbreaking 0-0 against Brentford, with Aston Villa winning. It's now in their hands. Have we bottled it? We have already relegated Fulham on the final day, with Aston Villa away at Wolves in a Midlands derby. It's an exciting final day incoming. Fulham take the lead after 4 minutes through Alexander Mitrovic, and he doubled their lead after 37 minutes. 2-0 to Fulham. Southampton's European hopes have surely gone. A lifeline on the stroke of half-time as James Ward-Prowse scored a penalty. Over to Molineux and Villa took the lead after 53 minutes through Samid Bazdar. With us losing, it's academic at this point. Fulham grabbed a third and Mitrovic sealed his hat-trick and what looked like our fate. However, there's fight in us yet. Marcus Leonardo squeezed it home, and 2 minutes later, Lukic flew through Marcus Leonardo and gave away a penalty. James Ward-Prowse stepped up. James Ward-Prowse scores 3-3. Have we got another in us? And we're back at Molineux, where Angel Gomez equalises for Wolves after 73 minutes. And on 79 minutes, Gonzalo Guedes has scored for Wolves. The hero for Southampton. Reverberating around the stands, the Southampton fans realise the Conference League dream is on, and it's secured when Kamaldeen Sulemana makes it 4-3. What a final day. The drama. Boys, get your passports ready. We're going to Europe. Victor Osimhen snaffled the golden boot away from Marcus Leonardo, but being in between Osimhen and Haaland, he's in great company. Hey Marcus, there's always next season. The board said 7th is enough to be best of the rest and rewarded us with £55 million to spend. The European adventure starts here.